Way ah, way oh, way ah, way ah, way ah, way ah, way ah, hey oh. Way ni be madesi. Way ni be madesi.
Well, Boujou, Boujou, that song means it's time for Anishinabe Sober Voices here on WOJB. And I'm joined in the studio by Mary Ellen Baker and a guest. Could you introduce our guest?
Yes, Oriane.
Oriane,
Introduce
okay.
yourself.
Bijou. Chante Wambly, we did indigenous cause. Bijou Dodem. My name is Oriane Baker. I'm of the Lynx clan, Bijou clan. Uh, Mary Ellen is my aunt.
Mm, very cool. How's she for an aunt? She's a pretty
Great.
nice lady.
Yes. Wonderful.
No complaints like her kids have about her.
Oh, I don't think anyone complains about that.
No, I don't think so either. Oh, well, thanks
there's
for
a few
coming.
people that complain.
Yeah, yeah.
More than a few.
Oh, man.
But that's all right.
So, Mary Ellen, what's your week been like? You've come in, of course, somewhat exhausted from all your things, and you're busy, busy, busy. You're, an elder. You should be taking it easy and relax. But no, what do you do?
I don't know what I do.
They just tell
but
you.
I'm
to go
always
over,
doing
They
something.
tell you to go over here, you go over there, and if you go over here, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been working on the recordings,
Oh yeah.
the recordings that we did, and
Mhm.
those are going to be coming into view pretty soon. And we did the transcribing on them. And now we're in the process of editing. So
Wow.
those
Yep.
hopefully we're gonna have a November 5th. We're gonna have um a day at the convention center where we're gonna honor 4 people who are now in the spirit world, but have uh, contributed greatly to our recovery program
Mhm.
here at Lakudere. And these people brought AA, the concepts of AA here, as well as incorporating the traditional teachings and values
Mhm.
and ceremonies into the program of recovery. So we're gonna honor them, and we're I'm meeting with family members, and we're deciding of what to do and how to do it and what's going to be done that day. So if anyone's interested in contributing and wanting to help plan, we meet at my house at 5 o'clock on Tuesdays.
Okay.
So that
Which
I'm gonna.
which was just a couple hours ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very cool. Yeah.
And then I was in Rhinelander today, and then I was in Lake Flambeau visiting Tinker.
Mhm.
So now I'm here.
Very cool. So, who else were we supposed to have? Who did you say we were else going to have? Becky.
Becky Taylor
She
said
hasn't
she'd be here.
arrived yet. She
Yeah.
said she would. Becky, if you're listening, we're waiting for you. You come in. All right. So, what's let's talk about recovery stories and where people have been in the past and where they're at today and how they got there.
I noticed we had a naming ceremony on last Sunday, and
Mm.
we were all sitting around talking, and after, and no, it was on see, Saturday we had calling of the pipes. I I gave tobacco to some pipe carriers that I know, and we all got together and smoked our pipe, and we talked about the addiction that's going on the reservation,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about how it is here, and we put tobacco in our pipes, and we talked about our people that are addicted and how ask the Great Spirit to give them the desire to sober, to
Mm-hmm.
live a good life, to give up the drugs and to live a good life here on earth. So we had that, and it was quite emotional for me because of my own drinking and using, and my own, and I know what they're going through,
Yeah.
and it was emotional for me, and I wondered about that, and after I realized that this month is when I sobered up 43 years ago.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
this month,
Yeah.
from the 13th to the 21st, were really some hard days.
Mm,
I was in the hospital, but they couldn't help me. They couldn't give me anything because they didn't know what I had taken or what kind of drugs I had used.
sure.
So I had the cold turkey in the hospital.
Mm,
And so after I realized that this is a crucial time for me, I my my emotions are high. That day, that time in the hospital, and that month is so vivid in my mind. And but yet I have the gratitude and the gratefulness for that time too. That time it taught me what I was doing to myself. I couldn't blame anybody else when I was suffering that time in the hospital,
mm-hmm.
and I couldn't blame anybody. It's just something I did, something I did to myself. So I have. I always say that. I always say that I'm so thankful that I came out of that alive,
Right.
because I thought I was going to die from one second to the next. And I'm so grateful and so thankful for giving, for having this time on earth to do good things, to wake
Mm-hmm.
up in the morning and know that everything's going to be okay, and to learn how to live sober, and to make up my mind that that uh, I don't want to drink just for today. I don't want to drink and I don't want to use.
Yeah.
So then, but I always say that I know alcoholism and I know drug abuse. I know that, and I know what it can do, and I know everything about it. There isn't anything that I don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what helps me to not
Yeah.
do it, to not drink, to not use, and even to smoking pot. I always hear that smoking pot isn't anything, but it really is. And I used to, when I was counseling, and I still do now, they say, well, pot isn't, you don't get in car accidents when you use pot. I said, well, I said, if you don't think that it's
Yeah.
affecting you any, go without it for about a month or two and see how you feel.
Yeah.
If you get crabby and if you
Mm-hmm.
think about it a lot, and if you'd say, oh, if only I had a I only had some pot, I'd be okay.
Hmm.
Then you know you're addicted to it, you know. And if it's just like alcohol, if you're not drinking, if you don't take time to stop drinking, you don't know what it's like
Hmm.
to be without it, you know. The same thing with pot or with
Yeah.
any drug.
Yeah. With anything.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
So,
amazing how sometimes we have to go through some really terrible things in life, especially if we're getting clean, or realizing we have to. But those experiences prepare you for being able to relate to somebody else who's just going through that, and you can lead them through that and use the traditional ways to bring people through those things that you've learned during those periods, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and we have the other side. We have the other side of addiction, and we have the ones that never used in their life, you know, never
Hmm.
had it, never tried it, never did anything for that, you know. So we have that too.
Yeah.
And Oriane's one, you know,
Hmm.
Oriane, she's she hasn't used, and
Hmm.
she's she's on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I used to be around some women in Al-Anon because I went to Al-Anon a lot, and they'd say they sat with their husband while he was drinking,
Yeah.
and then all night. Sometime they'd be sipping on a beer or a drink, and I said, "Well, what do? Why do you go there?" You know, I can't understand that. Why
Right.
go in the tavern if
Right.
you're not going to drink and the drink doesn't bother? I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't affect you. So,
Wow.
but I
Yeah.
see Becky walked in,
Becky
is in,
snuck in the back door.
and
We only have one door, so it's back or front. And Becky,
there's your
scoot up a little
tobacco
bit
there.
and come up to the microphone there and join the conversation. We're just
Yeah,
kind
I'll
of
let these two girls
go.
talk.
Let's start with Oriane to maybe continue her story of your experience with people who are addicted or family members, or I don't know your story. So tell us what's happening.
I think, well, I'm a child of an alcoholic, and that was so devastating for me into all the um, mayhem and all the bad things that happen with being alcoholic. It really deterred me from wanting that to be my life. It scared me so much. Even now today,
Yeah.
I don't try to get in smoke cigarettes or anything that would lead to an addiction because I'm I've seen what it's done and I just don't want that.
Yeah.
And then when I was young, I did drink and I hated and would get so sick with from hangovers and stuff.
Mm.
I would tell people by the time I was legally able to drink, I was already done with it.
You're already cured.
Yeah, I was already cured
Yeah.
because it was so terrible to me. And then I'm also a survivor of child abuse,
Mm.
and so um, I just didn't want to be in that, put myself in that position to be hurt, to be in, and I that kind of went side by side, the alcoholism and the abuse. And so I just, it was enough and it was terrible enough that it really kept me away from wanting that to be my life. And so I acted, and then I had a lot of um, positive people out in the community that would say positive things. Uh, for me, dancing and
Mm.
those things that go with dancing, like beading and sewing and knowing about um, different aspects of like feathers and the different regalias and colors and what they mean and all those kind of things, all that power knowledge and dancing knowledge. Um, there was people in the community that really spoke positive all the time about being dancing and being able to live in both worlds, that you could be this educated person and you could um, dance and be um, native and be cultural.
Hmm.
And there was voices all the time around me that just stayed with me to this day. I could just hear those voices that would give that encouragement. So that's what really encouraged and provided direction in my life. And although I went through my share of, bad experiences, um, I think I'm a fast learner because it was enough to keep me away from that.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I just, maybe I'm a scaredy cat. I just didn't want to put myself in that
Yeah.
position. I was,
Right.
to me, I was hurt enough. I didn't want any more.
Hmm.
And so that really, the positive community voice and really enjoying and um, finding myself when it came to culture and education also really set my course for my life as to what I wanted and to really make those choices.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Hmm.
And so I chose not to put myself through that.
I don't think that's a scaredy cat. I think that's a strong person
Mhm.
to be able to stand up to those uh, desires of our humanness and taunting from people around you to stand up and say, "No, I'm not doing this." That takes strength, not a scaredy cat. So I
Yeah.
admonish you on that. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, those are the things that really kept me. And you know what? There was also in in that powwow world, there's an atmosphere of respect
Hmm.
for all things cultural, respect for knowing about what you're wearing, knowing about dances and songs and all like that. That um, I wanted to be. Not only did I want to be in that world of respect, I wanted to be respected. I
Yeah.
was just thinking about that coming over, and I wanted to be one of those people that people talk good about respect.
Hmm.
And it encouraged, that was another, there's a lot of factors I think that come together that make you, or make it easy to, or make it where you have make positive choices.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a number of things, and that was one of them too. About, I knew in my mind, and I could recall the conversation within myself about wanting to be respected.
Hmm.
And so that always kind of drove what I chose to do.
Very wow. Very cool. Did you have something to add? I see your eyes looking at me. I can't see your mouth because you got your mask on. What are you saying there?
I got the I know both of the worlds.
Yeah.
I know I felt the disrespect at one
Mm-hmm.
time, and now I feel the respect at times. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, so but
Well, speaking of powwows and the traditions and the respect, I know I respect Becky for what she does uh, at powwows and during the summer when she does the exhibitions at the landing, and she knows powwows very, very well. So, speak to us about the tradition of the powwow and what strength comes from attending those, dancing at those, the regalia that people wear as well. That's your time.
Okay. Bonjour, Anishinabe Dog, Majakwet Indigenous Cause, Makwa Nin Dodem, Odawa Saikaning Nindun Jaba, Medewe Gishigukwe, Mamengwa, Zagiwin, Ogaba Benes, Nagani Beneshikwe, Nagani Benesh. Bonjour, good evening, everybody. here in WOJB land. Yes, everybody knows me as Powell Mama, or either their wet aunt, um, living and breathing the Powell world, I guess.
Mm.
Very fortunate to have being wrapped around that big circle, Powell families from all over Indian country and throughout Canada. I'm very thankful to represent the different styles, dancing women's traditional, women's jingle, and women's fancy shawl throughout my lifetime. And as a single mother raising my two children, and this Powell life has been where I felt the safety of that circle. It's an unwritten rule of not coming in under the influence of alcohol or drugs, not being disrespectful in that arena. So there's a comfort of that security, of that balance of feeling loved by families as we're all greeting each other, hugging each other, wondering how your families have been doing throughout the year, and enjoying watching our children grow together and cooking and feeding each other and sharing things, gifting each other, and and at times, being lucky enough to be in the top 5 or dancing in those memorial specials. And to me, I know no other life other than the Powell way, and it has kept me with my sobriety to be able to go full time with it, especially when you're running a powwow for our visitors coming in, and especially my woodland dance youth troupe. I have to be that role model for them to look up to and to follow and to teach them from what I learned from my elders that have shown me the way. And it's a wonderful opportunity to teach our woodland dances, because they have the teachings of the respect of the animals, the 4 seasons, colors, the floral designs that Marianne has mentioned, the regalia of helping us learn to make the regalia of of our own Anishinaabe for our children. And it's just a wonderful thing to teach and to have those things with the landing shows throughout the summer on Wednesday nights. Um, I have a youth group of about 100 children that are now into the third generation here. Right now, of dancers through the grandmothers, grandfathers that have danced with us and sang with us, and now it's their great grandchildren dancing with us. And also help out with the school veteran powwow, as my late father, my late brother, and my other 2 brothers are all veterans. And November 11th, we always have that at the Lakota School. And then the New Year's powwow, where I take that on um, in high respect in regards to keep me sober, in that recognition of giving my time and effort back to the community, of allowing them to be thankful for the life that we were given, be thankful through the giveaway, through the traditional feasts, through honoring our veterans, our head dancers, and having enough to give a little junya to our dancers and singers, and just having fun, of enjoying ourselves, and celebrating a new year to begin again. And my story is that helped me was traditional services for my wet aunt who passed away I asked her, the service man, his name was Ken Funmaker Sr. He told me, you can go up there and speak to her, and you can ask her for any kind of help that you may need spiritually. And when I did, I went up there and asked her, please don't let me drive anymore. I know I'm helping my friends, at least I think I am, getting us around, and I'm driving and also drinking. And I didn't want to do that no more. I didn't want that responsibility no more of causing an accident or being in an accident or losing anybody. And I asked my wet aunt to help me spiritually in honor of her, to help me with a year sobriety for her, as she died of alcoholism and lung cancer.
Mm.
And at that time, I was smoking cigarettes too. So I asked her for both habits to um, let me give that up for her. And that was the hardest 6 months, I believe, because you lose all your friends and your family. It felt like, and um, that's how you feel. That's how I felt, and nobody was around to really help you. That's how I felt, and it was a lonely period of time. You think all the fun was taken away, but that's when I really grabbed a hold of the Powells again for the summer, because I knew I had to raise my children as a single mother. So through that winter, I started making regalia. My mother helped me and got back on the Powell Trail. And I started placing as a fancy shawl dancer, and I knew I was safe there to camp. There would be no alcohol in that on the Powell grounds in that time frame. There used to be, but the elders, spoke up for their camps of protecting it. I know nobody to come into the Powell grounds under the influence because they're camping.
Yeah.
There's elders, there's babies, there's people trying to sleep, and I knew if I kept going to Powell's, I would be safe with my children. And it was a way for me to provide for them also in that safe way. So that's what kept me alive in my sobriety. Was I have to give all the credit to all those Powells that kept me sober with my wet aunt. Um, that was just visit her grave here. So I always forget about the years now, but I believe it's 25 years, I believe, because been doing sobriety Powell since then, and it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding in those ways, because there's a lot of people that are beginning to um, get their families involved in making their regalia. I was just gifted um, beautiful pair of earrings this summer, and then a jingle dress this summer, and copper kettle,
Mm.
and a birch bark basket. And to me, those are gifts now coming from my wet aunts and my friends that are letting me know that I have inspired them without even having a chance to talk to anybody um, about that, I guess. So, miigwech for this opportunity in WOJB land, that even if we can affect one person's ears and hearts,
Yeah.
then we're doing this time right now um, with the miigwech of the Creator's help to get the word out that being Shinabe, being born Shinabe, is a beautiful way of life, and honoring yourself and your family. That's the way you can help others, and helping others now, and then they help others. It's just a big connection of it's beautiful to be Anishinaabe Kwe, because you have that respect, and I'm there for anybody that needs help. You know, we have tobacco in front of us, and all you have to do is just touch it, and you could feel it right to your heart, to speak the truth, let your voice be heard from your heart. You're telling your own story and your own experience, and never be ashamed of all those things that we've been through the domestic abuse, um, through the alcoholism in our families, to the alcoholism that's still there through our families. um, would never be ashamed of that, because that is a disease, as we know, and um, we're still going to be there for them, to help them help them decide with their heart, and guide them. There's different programs. CCS right down on the corner here of Highway B and Schoolhouse is a beautiful
Hmm.
building there. We have spiritual leaders out there, such as Mary Ellen here with the Culture Center, Gary Quarters on Highway K, Jerry Smith. There's a lot of Native people. There's the building of the Big Drum building. There's Meday, um, different camps throughout Anishinabe land that you go to them and you feel that welcome through the winter of their Big Drum services. You feel that welcome through food and dance and songs. It continues to help your heart heal. And to me, learning those Anishinaabe ways is the most powerful way of, to me, of not having to go see the doctor for any kind of medication for anything, is to mentally believe in yourself, and and be kind to your heart and your soul and your body, to live that long good life, and be that role model for those children. They're looking up to all of us. So, they're just like little ducklings behind us. And I'm really happy to be part of the Powell world. I mean, if anybody wants to um, know how to dance any of the women songs, um, I'm there for you. Even the men songs, I can lead those if I have to.
Hmm.
And there's those songs that are just for those woodland songs. So there's a lot of singers out there, and there's just a lot of good people. That you think of the Four Seasons coming up, get busy. You have Oriane here, real fast beater, seamstress. Um, there's a lot of women out there and men that can bead and make regalia and moccasins. You just have to get out there and ask the people, and get going on making those things for your children. And when you see them dancing, we just did a powwow at the school on Friday. They were beautiful. I mean, when
Yeah.
they can be themselves and
Yeah.
just get out there and have fun, that's your reward. Is their smiles, and they're hugging you, and it's just like you become the instant powwow mama for them.
Hmm.
So all my wet aunts out there, I love all of you. I got probably about um, under 100 wet ants right there.
Mm.
So the power of my wet aunt, you know, she's blessed me with all those years of um, having this good way of life without alcohol and our drugs, our cigarettes, those bad things for yourselves. Um, but if you're out there, just see me anywhere on the res. Just um, don't be afraid to say "Bonjour, Anin." How can I get a ribbon skirt done, or how can I get some beadwork done, or anything like that? We can help you.
Yeah.
How can you make a traditional dish? Um, we can guide you, to the right resources. So
Hmm.
I want to say a big miigwech to Jared to push me over here to
Hmm.
speak. It's
Hmm.
kind of impromptu. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you listening. And I was like, I didn't even have to put no makeup on or anything. You can't see me.
Oh, yeah, they can.
Yeah, oh, yeah, they can. Where?
On Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hello then.
Yeah.
Oh, they had to tell
Surprise.
me. Now I'm nervous.
Okay.
Now I'm shy.
No. And I want to speak to you raising up that younger generation, not only children within your community, but children within your own family. Because we have a young man on the air here at WOJB who does powwow music, and just to see his life and what he does with his life, and he's always powwow oriented. He made us a hand drum for the station, and he's just been so very, very helpful. And I appreciate knowing who his mother is, and what she's done for her children, and
Oh, yes,
it's just been great.
that's my son, Thomas Kane.
Yeah.
He's I gotta break him up now because I'm the mom. But he received 2 NAMMYs off of Pipestone Singers,
Okay.
and he also received a Grammy Award off of Hale Creek.
Mhm.
And his woman, Vanessa, her and her mother, Donna Concho, are 2-time world champion backup singers. And my 2 little grandsons, they now wear my brother my brother Gary's regalia and my late brother Mike's regalia from the 50s as the woodland style dancers.
Mm.
So yes, he it was probably from all the singing that I did for him and my daughter Sheena to powwows. That's what would keep me awake, to
Right.
drive these
Yeah.
16-hour drives, just to make powwows. I can't believe that. Can't even drive to Rice Lake. Oh, we're way. But singing to him, and it's funny because I just found a tape of my great nephews. He was singing on the washer, you know. So those kids, they want to sing. My boy, he would just be like, um, be singing in the grocery store on a cereal box, and he'd be singing off the school bus. He'd be singing down the hallway. Um, yeah, he's he knows all the woodland songs, all the powwow songs, all the midday songs, the big drum songs,
Mm.
shake and tent songs, um, the sweat songs. I mean, just like you know, he learned from the older men that didn't have this technology.
Yeah.
The technology was their heart and their mind and their ears and their attention to that music to bless them. As the heartbeat to the nations. He's blessed with that learning, and to pick up a song, just tell him to sing, you know, this song, and he's got it just like that. It's just like, um, and now my boys, or my grandsons are catching on the same way. They're still a little shy, but yes, Tommy, he's a great man to perfect guy to be on air, for WOJB, and just and then him and my daughter. My daughter will be head woman dancer at Northland College coming up this Saturday, along with my son-in-law Josh. So my whole family's kind of incorporated with
Yeah.
my granddaughters too. They're both jingle dress dancers and fancy shawl, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to be challenged, to dance with them. I'm thinking about Honor Dear time when we got honored as a mother and a daughter and a granddaughter, to dance fancy shawl together. I was like, wow, okay. Had to dust off my shawl again, and I mean, it's just like just to be able to dance the style that raised my children as a champion shawl dancer back in the day. It was it's just wonderful to see your children in their regalia and being respectful and being respected throughout Indian country, and a lot of you is I just in the mail. I'll bring that flyer in before we leave. It's for the Gathering of Nations coming up next April, and I've been doing the Powell CDs for them since 2005. And my job is just to listen freehand of the best songs throughout the weekend, and then I'll rate them to, have enough songs to put on their Powell CD. So that's my fun job. I get the easy job, just listening into all the good music. So it's just it just brings back Historyland days.
Mm.
Historyland days, you can still hear those songs being resung again, and it just puts that same energy, that same love back into you, that heart, and it just brings back all the loved ones of my elders, coming back. It's just like you can just feel their spirits dancing with you. You can just hear them still singing.
Mm.
It's just a good vibe, blessing to be at Apollo. I mean, just everybody's welcome to just if you're not dancing or singing, you're welcome to grab a chair and come down and grab a good Indian taco or, walk around and visit and, you know, come in at any session of the weekend. And it's just a good time to see the dances and it's, it's just a beautiful way of life. And to me, I know that's what kept my family away from, the alcohol abuse, of the drug abuse, the disrespect, those kind of abuses that are out there. Um, and that's my safety net, Powell World. So I just want to say a big miigwech to WOJB
Mm.
88.9 FM, Powell Night, Jump Song Night. I really appreciate it, along with my two favorite ladies here, my good friends here that have guided me respectfully and still learning from them and helping out wherever I can in any way I can. So I want to say a big miigwech to that. Miigwech.
English. Yeah, I remember when I first started sobering up and I started going to the elders and they said, go to powwows, go to powwows.
Hmm.
I heard that over and over again. And I went, and
Nice.
I would sit and listen and watch and try to figure out things. Yeah. I used to go with my grandma, but she told me different things about the powwow, how how the dancers. She knew where every dancer came from, and she didn't even leave Hayward
Oh.
or Lakudere, but she knew Oneida style. She knew Menominee style.
Mhm.
She would point about that history line over there.
Yeah.
She would point out to me, and I'd say, "How do you know that, Gram?" And she'd say, "Dress." She couldn't talk English. She
Mm.
said their outfits.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah,
beautiful.
but that's what they told me to do when I first sobered up. Go to powwows. Well, I got your gift today. I want to tell you, thank you, Megwitch.
Oh, such a
That was
blessing.
that I didn't even expect that. She didn't tell me nothing. I went over there
Good
today.
life.
Just yeah, I just took my pipe over to her house and we were smoking. And she brought out this feather fan, and I thought, oh, she's gonna do whole ceremony right here. And then she told me all about the feather fan, Megwitch.
Oh,
That's the side we use for healing to bring
oh,
down the medicine. That's the one that we use for that.
oh.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. So that was really great.
Beautiful.
Thank you. We're gonna have to do it proper though. Veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was a nice surprise. It was good. I didn't even know. She can keep a secret.
Yep.
Eh?
Packer Queen.
Yeah, I guess so. Her house is all Packer style,
Oh dear.
green and gold. Yeah. So, Ariane, what do you think?
I agree that Powell is a good starting place when you to start knowing people that are interested and make their culture a priority. There's people there. Um, I like it that there's a atmosphere of respect and of um, and you could still tell, and it's the same thing is true today. You could still tell people what their tribes are, what by their outfits and what they wear. And even they would say, you want to know who a person is, then look at their outfit. You'll learn a lot for who they are by their outfit. And I think that's still true today. That how they carry themselves, their coloring. Um, there used to be more rules than how you look like way back when, but and that's kind of has changed um, through the years, where we all wear each other's kind of styles or colors or like that, but still, by and large, the rules of tribe by tribe has their own unique identity in what they wear. And so, and that's true not only of what they wear, but of their songs, what kind of songs there are, what kind of animals and things are important in their culture, because you hear that in their songs and
Mhm.
in their dances. So all that is there. And so when you don't know where to start, or I think it's a good starting place to get out there, and if you're interested in understanding your identity as a indigenous person. We used to say Indian and Native American, now we're indigenous. So as indigenous people, it's still those, what has worked in the past is still working.
Mhm.
Talking about sobriety and all the gifts and all the gifts that you receive when you're sober, that show the respect that you that you you're that helps you, you know.
Mhm.
Respect helps you.
Yes.
Helps you to want to live a better life,
Mhm.
helps you to feel good about yourself,
Mhm.
and I always look for something every day that'll tell me how good my sobriety is, because I have to watch it every day.
Mhm.
I have to make up my mind every day that I'm going to live a good life today. I'm not going to do anything bad to anybody. I'm not going to talk about anybody. I'm not going to try to hurt anybody. Boy, I used to be good at that. And then I'm not going to, feel, I'm not going to be negative. I want to be positive. And today I had somebody for the first time to tell me that I have good stature.
Mm.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Huh.
What would it mean to you if somebody said you have good stature?
Yeah.
Come on, Mark. What would that mean?
Um, I don't know. Stature. What is stature? It's probably just the way you would
Google.
carry yourself. Yeah, I'll Google it right here. I'll Google it. I think it's just the way you respect yourself,
Mhm.
which is how you present yourself to the world and to the people around you in service. Um, that some people think stature is like, in England, the king and queen. They got it's like, well, that's not stature. That's pomp and circumstance and some other man's invention of trying to make people important that may not be really important. Not that the king or queen isn't important to some people, but it's important to their world and that's where they live. But overall, I think stature is something that is grown within you, and people see that and put that respect back to you.
Mhm.
If you're respecting yourself, you have your own stature within yourself. I don't know. Is that, what do
Yeah,
you think?
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree that stature comes from your own actions.
Hmm.
So, and then that translates into how people see you. So that what a compliment. That is really something. I'd be happy if somebody told me that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a first. How many years to get that? 43 years?
Oh
it's,
dear.
it's really neat, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Beck?
That's beautiful. I could see you working with the ancestral women. You girls are already, up there in those marks of being spoken well of. That would be the best gift to me. You know, once the Creator calls me, is is to have everybody there know me as me. And that they'd be there to speak high all the good times, to my family, so that they can feel that healing energy of she did the best she could, with what she had through that respect that we talked about, through that love, through those teachings of our grandmas, you know, of being being a home to welcome our neighbors, our Powell families, that you offer them something to drink, something to eat, somewhere to rest, that they always had a place to go was my Powell home. And in return, I was able to go to their home, traveling throughout native country here, and I'm really thankful for that, to allow me and my children to enter their homes, but to be spoken of highly,
Mm.
in the end is the ultimate gift, you know, and let's not wait till the ultimate end.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
say it now.
Right.
Speak of all those ones that are surrounding us now. You know, honor them now, because we don't know when our time is up, and you would rather live that day like the way I dance. I dance that song like I don't have the next chance to dance it. Give it, give it all, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So just give it all on that time, because you want to be remembered for giving it all the best that you could on that song, and that gift of dance, to honor yourself in that light, and to be spoken highly among kids through hugs, you know is really a blessing, because it's like, that's my rewards every time, is to get like a genuine hug
Yeah.
from a child that really doesn't know you, that well, but they just want to hug. Friday, I was just like being wrapped up by all those children. All it took was one girl that knew me well,
Yeah.
from the landing show, and then it was just like they all wanted a grandma hug, just to be spoken that way, instead of waiting, until after you're gone. It's you want to be both ways if you had the chance to, and that's the way I see you ladies, in that light. They're my they're my Anishinaabe Quays right here, and to have more of these ladies like that, it's just a blessing for our reservation here, for for the Anishinaabe women to be guided, be guided in that way. That I think of my great grandma and my grandmothers and my mothers, just to be have that unconditional love. No matter what you did, from the whatever we did, you know, it's okay. We're gonna get through it together. No matter what happened, and you were always able to tell your story in confidence. You know, to where you could just release it. Release it, to not be able to hold those things inside of you. Just release it. Even if you have to go to any of our sacred spots in our area, you know, call one of us. I'm more than happy to take you to any of those spots to release those things, that you can't do in an office or, you know,
Mhm.
we go to that land and, go to Mother Earth and let those feelings out. I mean, I think of Pipestone Creek that helped me when I lost a lot of Powell kids, you know, Powell friends through drinking and driving. We don't have one road on our res that hasn't been affected by drunk driving, and it really hurts my heart, that
Mm.
um, to be able to um, help them in some way to not do that or to have any more, you know, roads in that way.
We don't want to remember our roads as dying places.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to, you know, we need to, we hope that in the future that our roads could represent something positive instead of just dying places.
Yeah. Right.
Or you see a
Because-
cross along the way,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
alongside.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Want to tell you, Karen, when she had my daughter Karen, when she had, I think it was two of her youngest kids, and I was in the car too. We were going into Menominee Reservation. She told the kids, she says, "Okay, kids," she says, "not to worry, we're home." As soon as she got across that reservation line, she told the kids, "We're home." And that's what she got from you when she was traveling with you.
No.
And she's teaching it to her kids.
Mm.
That you're always home when you're on Indian land,
Mhm.
indigenous land.
Mhm.
Yes.
Indigenous land.
So,
Our
but I
new
wanted
word.
to share that with you, and that's one of the things that we don't even know sometimes what we give to
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
We don't even know what we give to young people. It could be a word that they hang on for the rest of their life, or a
Mhm.
teaching that they hang on, and then they'll start showing their kids and their kids, and that's the way that good life is. That's what it means to live a good life.
Mhm.
And always playing it forward. Always pushing the traditions forward. Oh.
You don't know when that good word or that good advice is going to come into play. You might think that they're not listening, or maybe it's not connecting, or something, but maybe 10 years from now that they'll remember somebody saying those good words or those good teachings, and then they could act on it,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
it's not always just immediate.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that signals that we're out of time, but it is a signal that we're just a couple minutes away from, actually 1 minute away from the end of the program. And I just want our listeners to know that you've been listening to Anishinaabe Sober Voices. If you have a need that you would like to talk to somebody about, we have a couple of phone numbers you're able to call. Mary Ellen Baker's number is 715-634-5806. And don't call now, wait till she gets home. Or Steve Perry is available as well at 231 357 6191. If you're looking for some direction or want to talk to somebody about getting help for your addiction, these two people can help you and direct you in the right way. We thank you for listening to Anishinaabe Sober Voices here on WOJB. Coming up, Mr. Thomas Kane with Drum Song.
Good night, Charles. Good night,
Hey.
Steve.
Love you, Thomas. Yeah.
Well,
$5 movie. Now I want it.
people pop in and out throughout it, but a lot more people watch this.